baby. Alrighty. I'm just gonna start because, you know, I'll be starting on time. And there's really a lot to go over when you're playing support. I want to clear up the misconception that support means only playing healer. While that is the easiest way to support your team, it is not the only way. So let's not just think about support as just being heals. We do have heal tanks that are self-sustain or can keep themselves alive a little bit more, such as Zarya, such as Roadhog. And I'm going to go through the hero gallery and we can have a chat. I'll give it a good 5 minutes. Please let me know if my music is too loud. I just have it on in the background. I don't really want it to be picked up by stream. And welcome to the stream. I see you guys starting to come in. Appreciate it. Don't waste my time. What music? Good. I'm glad you're not hearing anything. But I'm actually listening right now to Music Soul Child. That's the song going on in the background. Since the mic is a little bit different for PlayStation, it doesn't pick up that well. So I want to make sure that it wasn't picking up anything. How are you doing, Blake? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. All right. I'm gonna try to keep this to about an hour. It's 4:03. So I'll try to make it quick. No, definitely not twerking music. Definitely slow jams. So what I was saying before is that you should definitely not consider only healing-based characters as support. There are lots of ways to support your team, and it really does depend on your play style. For instance, one of my main characters, May, she's not necessarily considered a support player, but I play her as a support player because that's generally my role on the team. I play what I like to call aggressive support, meaning I will get in that ass if I need to, but I'm more interested in keeping my team alive and making sure that I'm calling out so that my team is aware of what's going on at all times. I do believe that if you are the healer, that a lot of the burden for callouts does rest on you, simply because you are already overly hyperactive and aware of what's going on your team. And there's some other things that will help with that, and I'll go through that a little bit later. So I will go through our basic healers, and we'll go from there. Lucio. He's getting an update soon, which is going to make him a lot more effective than he is right now. There's your hero info. He has a sonic amplifier, projectile that can knock you back. His ultimate is a sound barrier, which does create a temporary shield for all allies. Hey, LJ, welcome to the stream. You have the crossfade. That's your switch in between your amp it up, which is your... Hey, Sensui, what's up? I was like, oh, I'm talking, but I'm not saying hello. Your crossfade allows you to switch in between your amp it up, increases the effectiveness of your song, pretty much uses it. Your sound wave knocks you back, and your passive is your wall ride. I know there are changes to wall rides coming soon. Hey, Blue Does Switch, welcome to the stream. So Lucio is a character in general we're going to have to come back to, but he is a great basic healing character. I call him the God Body because he really can hide and fit anywhere. He's great for pushing the payload, great for those, Jill Scott, let's take a long walk maps where, you have to get to the point when you're on defense after a wipe and maybe you don't have a Symmetra. Our next healer up is Mercy. She is currently my main healer. I used to main Lucio. She's definitely very, very straightforward as a healer. Yo, hey, Jay. Welcome to the stream, and hey, Hot Steppa. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming down. So for Mercy, she basically has a staff that can also, with your D-pad, switch to a Caduceus Blaster, which you see the first and second things on this screen. The great thing about Mercy is that she can heal you, but she can also switch to damage boost you. So that comes in really, really handy if she's tethered to somebody that does precision hits, like a Soldier, a Bastion, a McCree even, or your diva, whoever your tank is that's going to be doing the most damage and soaking up the most damage, she's great, a great pairing for them. I generally run Mercy as main heals, and in most cases can get away with only running her, but I do recommend doing duo heals. Her ult is amazing. It's Resurrection. There is a indication on your screen for how long. It's a few seconds. You can bring your teammates back, and now recently she's invulnerable when she is rezzing. Your L1 allows you to fly toward an ally. This can be both amazing and dangerous because you'll fuck around and be in some danger. Her passive is Angelic Descent, and that's generally for use when you're sort of, maybe tethered to a Pharah or a Diva, or you're getting down from, a high up place and you want to, gently float down. I rarely use that, but it is something that you should use. So our next straightforward healer is going to be Zenyatta. Zenyatta is great because, yes, he heals, and he can be a little bit limited on the healing that he is able to give to the team singularly. I don't recommend him as a singular healer in most cases, depending on what the rest of your team comp is. But you have your Orb of Destruction, which is your just your projectile, very precision, very amazing. You can also charge that shot, which will give you a charge shot of 5. I believe his full clip is 20. So really, you should always be having charge shots, especially in places where folks are going to come around the corner, or you see just a grouping of people fighting your team. You definitely want to hang back as Zenyatta. He does not have lots of heals. I do know and see lots and lots of aggressive Zenyatta play, but that's definitely reserved for if you're playing with your squad, you know that you have the support, and if your aim is that good and you really feel like you're going to win. No lie. Orb of Discord, that's an orb that you can put, it kind of marks the person for your team. I like to do it with, sort of the people that are flankers, like Sombra, Tracer, a Pharah maybe, just to draw their attention of the team to that person. Once you do have a Discord orb on, of course, it does increase the damage that they take while the orb is on them. They must be within your line of sight for that orb to remain on them, so keep that in mind. The same with your Orb of Harmony, which is your healing orb, and you can only throw out one at a time. The same rules apply. You can launch that orb, but if your ally is out of sight for, I think it's more than 3 seconds, then that orb will come back to you. But don't hesitate to just lob that shit in the general direction of your teammates. Let me know if I'm going too fast, y'all. I just want to get through all of the basic healers real quick so we can actually get into proper conversation. That does it, I think, for your... Well, no, we have Anna. Let me not forget Anna. Also going to be lots of changes coming to her as well. Well, not lots of changes, but in this next update, there's going to be changes coming to her. Sensui, I think that it's fair in a way, and I'll get to that. I'll get to why I think it's fair a little bit later. Anna, this is my personal least healing character, simply because I'm not here for the sniper rifle at all. But she does have a biotic rifle that does damage to enemies and heals allies. Her ultimate is a nano boost, which increases allies' damage and reduces your damage while it's been taken. I would advise, if you are going to nano boost any character, please make sure that they are in full health before you do so. It's a complete fucking waste. Otherwise, unless it's somebody that's already beastly like Roadhog or Reinhardt, which is really where these nano boosts should be going to. And again, Sensui, I disagree with you there, but we'll definitely come back to that. Do not forget that we need to talk about that after. Her L1 is her sleep dart. Puts an enemy to sleep. This is really great for somebody that's about to ult, somebody that you know is about to sneak up on your team, getting your Reinhardt down, you know, whatever. Hey, Tripping, welcome to the stream. Sleep dart is really, really great, but my advice would definitely be, don't just spam the sleep dart, because you'd be wasting it, and it can be really, 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 really effective on a push. Her biotic grenade is a grenade that sort of works like her biotic rifle in a way, but it's more immediate. You throw the grenade, and in that range, it either helps your allies or prevents healing on enemies, and it does both if you're within range. And those are just your straight up, yo, motherfucker, I'm gonna heal you healers. So much for this being a PG-13 video, right? A unique character that we have is Soldier 76, and he's what I call the COD character. He's definitely your run and gun. If you've not played a MOBA type game like this, you're coming from an FPS background, he's a great character to start with. He does have a healing station that he can put down that's very, very effective. And also, FYI, if you are pushing the payload does heal you if you are the one on attack. So keep that in mind. It's great to put down that that biotic feel, you know, right in the middle of a group fight, or if your healers are down. As Soldier, you know, pay a little bit of attention to that. Don't be a jerk soldier and only heal yourself, all right? And his other things are pretty straightforward. I'm not even going to get into that. So now we get into your support characters that are not necessarily healers, but they do offer either armor or they are self-sustained characters, so you have to worry about them a little bit less. I'm doing good, Tripping Crutch. I am trying to do my Overwatch Sherpa thing the way that I used to Destiny Sherpa. I realized that I've been slacking, so I'm trying to get it back. So Symmetra the God. Let's get to her. So Symmetra is a character that previously had to be updated because it was thought that she wasn't viable. I mean, I was playing her before that and really loved her before that because her kit really is amazing. But the updates that they made to her kit definitely make her more viable in more situations. So, check this out. So, I call her Zap Brannigan, of course. If you watch Futurama, you should get that reference. She has quite a few things going on, and it makes her amazing on defense. You definitely want to pick Symmetra on a defense map like Anubis, like Volskaya, El Dorado, a map where you know that if your team dies, your teammate dies, you're going to be walking that Jill Scott ass walk all the way back out. Especially if you don't have a Lucio that's kind enough to, Lucio taxi you back and forth. So she has a photon projector, which is a beam that grabs you, and that's pretty, self-explanatory. But her alternate fire for L2, she can hold that charge and release it as an energy orb. This is freaking awesome. It goes through everything. So it goes through surfaces. So you don't really have to worry about necessarily being outside of cover while lining up your shot. It's really, really great to pinch people in places on the maps that I described exactly, like Volskaya, like Temple of Anubis, like Eichenwald, where there's only one path that the attackers can be coming from. Your team is already in front of you fighting. It's great to spam those charged orbs because you're taking damage, it's going to go through a shield, and it's going to better put your team in a position to get pickups if they are pushing forward. All right. Her other most effective, and I'm just going to skip over to her other abilities before I tackle her ults. Her sentry turrets, you do get 6 of them. Before, you would have to wait until they charged up. Now, at the start of the game, you get all 6. It's great to create death trap rooms, and later on when I do run an actual Symmetra stream, I will go into how to set up death trap rooms and how to work that within your ultimate. But she's really, really great for crowd control or helping your team funnel. So you can be, you can have set up in one direction and you'll be there. The rest of your team, your tank, your DPS is facing in the other direction or waiting for the cleanup. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It works every time with the right support. Her other ability is her photon barrier, which I use to supplement Maze and Reinhardt's when their shield goes down. It does do a fairly decent amount of blocking, so it's great to just throw out in those same choke points as well. And it's great for you to throw it out in front of you as you're running towards somebody that's weak because they're not going to be able to shoot through it, and you're running up relatively safe with the zaps ready to go. So her ults, you now have 2 options. Hey Lady Rock, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? So with Symmetra, you do have 2 options for ults. Before, you only had the teleporter. This is great, again, for the Jill Scott walks. But the other option that we have now is a shield generator. So you can decide whether or not you want to give your team extra what? I forget what the exact number is. Hey, Death Scythe, welcome to this stream. You can decide whether or not you want to give your team armor, which will make them harder to kill, especially if you are set up or you're on the last point of a push setup and you just need the extra to make sure that they don't get by. It's a great, great, great alternative to the teleporter. But the teleporter is definitely invaluable on payload maps. And I play a lot of attack Symmetra. Folks don't expect it. Sometimes you just gotta be sneaky and put your teleporter in a place that will get your team directly to the point without the enemy team knowing. But of course, that takes a little bit of like map know-how and know-how for how your team plays. But ultimately, she's a great support character. It works really, really well in defense and on double attack maps. The other character I'm going to put into that support role, even though he's a turret-based character, because he does give you armor, I'm going to put Toby up here. So Toby, just like Symmetra, he has alt fire and for his gun, so he has a close range and a long range. He can build a turret, a stationary turret, one at a time. And he has a forge hammer that builds that turret. But the most important part of why he's even a part of the support conversation is because as he gets assists or kills, there's scrap that is all over the floor. It's like highlighted yellow. I'm sure you've seen it. And with that scrap collector, he's able to build armor packs, which he can give to the team. So he's great for defense, of course, also, and that's another way to sort of supplement if you don't have a secondary healer or you don't have a Symmetra. It's a great way to give your team an extra bit of armor as they're fighting, especially, you know what I mean, if they're fighting back against the payload push. The other characters I'm going to include in this are not necessarily support. They're more like support tanks, but kind of can fill a support role. And I'll put Zarya on that. Simply because Zarya has particle barriers both for herself and one that she can throw to someone else. You want to make sure that your projected barrier is on a tank or on a character that's soaking up lots of damage, because that is what powers up your actual charge weapon. When we do an episode where we discuss tanks and I have somebody that's more knowledgeable on Zarya, they will explain more. I'm just giving you the overview. I do not I do not actually play Zarya, so I cannot give you hella info. But pretty much the amount of damage that you soak up goes toward your particle cannon being powered up, which also has alt fire between zaps and sort of throwing an energy orb, similar to Symmetra, but it's a little bit more volatile. Our other character that's a support tank I consider is Roadhog, simply because he has self-sustain. He is able to heal himself. If you're not great with staying alive, you definitely want to check on self-sustained characters. Just try it out. Take it from Seeker. When has Seeker ever lied to you? Okay. The next character I also put into that because of the self-sustain is Mei. Again, she's my main. I'll do probably an entire stream just on Mei alone, the way that I play her. But her cryo freeze, which I call Omarion, get it? Ice block, heals and you become invulnerable to damage. Her other support items are her ice wall, which again I do use in the same way of Reinhardt using his ice wall, to creating barriers while you're pushing the payload to block off your teammates. It can even do things like, you know, put a wall before the D.Va ult so that your team doesn't get hit. Another great character to explore if you're not good at staying alive and you know you're trying to be mixy a little bit. She also does have alt fire. She has her mist spray, which freezes you, and she also has alternate precision shot fire, which is a charged shot. Hey Onyx, welcome back. So Bastion, I would not necessarily consider any kind of support character, but he does have self-heal, so I feel like I have to mention him here. He recently been through a buff and he's going through some things, but his L2 is self-repair. You hold that to heal yourself, and it's fucking crazy. If you have not played Bastion since the last update, I advise you to. Very, very valuable character, again, if you have the support around him. Alright, so I've gone over the basics. I'll also give an honorable mention to Tracer because she can recall health, but she's an entirely different style of character, and if you're going to play her as support, entirely different conversation. So let me know so far if you guys have any questions or if there's anything that I said that needs clarification or anything like that. I'm opening it up to you guys. Yes, Onyx, Overwatch tonight. And Sensui, let's get back to this discussion about Lucio while everybody thinks about if they have questions. So, I I don't mind the 10 meters being steep as fuck because the healing rate per second is going to be increased by 50%. What it does for me is that it forces Lucio players like myself, and if you're good in general, to be more focused and to be more strategic with when you use that and to be more aware of your teams. One issue that I've personally witnessed with Lucio, both on Xbox and on PlayStation, is that people play him sort of like a solo player, and they really, really do ignore the importance of heals and sticking with the team with him. I'm not saying I'm all the way excited about the radius being so low, but I feel like it's going to promote good Lucio players or players who want to main Lucio to be more effective. And there's nothing to say that it won't get adjusted again. Because this is like, what, the third adjustment they've made to Lucio? I feel like it makes him more viable. It makes Lucio players more focused on the team. And in future, if they do re-expand it the same way they adjusted May's alt range back and forth, it'll still work out for the best because then we would have known how to do it with a smaller radius. Uh, uh, uh. No, no questions, no nothing. No one has anything. Nothing. Lucio is absolutely one of my favorites also. I started the game, I played the beta with Lucio. I started the game like high Lucio stats. Let me check my master Overwatch. My Lucio stats are probably still up there even though I really do not play him at all anymore. The last time when he did get that nerf, it really hurt my feelings and I started moving away from playing him as much. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the changes work also with the change of Orisa being in the game, because I think that Orisa and Lucio are going to make a very, very, very amazing combination. Hey, Jackster. No more playing. It definitely makes the skill cap for Lucio higher, and also people have to. Well, that's what I think. That's what I think it is too. I think with most other healers, people do go to their healer or come back to their healer for heals. The way that it is now, Lucio ends up being in a lot of situations where one, he's the lone survivor and also lone survivor on the point. So I think the team being more aware of Lucio and Lucio being more aware of where the team is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that we're so accustomed to playing him as this very independent, I do what I want, Mori kind of character. I think it's I think a lot of people who thought they were good at Lucio are going to stop playing him. And that's not being shady. That's just to say that it's going to be a lot harder to be as effective on paper the way that you're accustomed to, with Lucio. But I've been playing Lucio these past couple nights, and I've been getting 10k heals and over, and I watch Lucio gameplays and people only get like 5k, and I'm not really understanding. So for me, I'm just ready to see how that changes the game, and also how with Orisa it changes the game. Hey Mike, thank you so much for the host and welcome to the stream. Is it time to move on? Because I'm going to talk a little bit about Mercy directly, since I would say she is my main. I want to go over some settings and encourage you to look over your settings in general. So if you guys don't have any questions or any comments or anything like that, I'll move on to the Mercy part of it. Death sites, I absolutely agree. I would say that lots of people don't switch back and forth. For me, whenever I am on the point and I'm being mixy, like, you probably will not be getting heals from me unless I see everybody's crit. But I personally like a secondary healer on the squad when I'm playing Lucio, especially since y'all know I push the objective and I'm going to be mixy on the objective. Jackster says he was a good healer before this if the team actually group up. See, exactly, Jackster. And you know how many times I spam group up, group up, group up, but don't nobody want to fucking group up, and then 2 seconds later I need healing? That drives me insane. I feel like it is the responsibility of the healer to keep eyes on the team, absolutely, but if you know you play Wild Boy and you know fully fucking well you only have one healer and they are nowhere in sight, you got to shut the fuck up about needing healing. You made a decision and you got to stick with it. If you're a flanker like Sombra or Reaper, you better have a plan. You cannot be all the way in the base of the other team and then spam I need healing because they all ran down on you. That's exactly what was always going to happen. So that's the other thing too that I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about that like after I get into Mercy a little bit, the responsibility of not only the healer but the rest of the team and how callouts play into that and why callouts are important. Hey Alex, welcome to the stream. Yes, if Roadhog goes on a mad flank, yeah, fucking when he needs heals, except if you are, you know, running squads within squads. And I also want to talk about that, and that's probably going to be another later stream also. This is just number one. This is stream number one. I don't want to get into everything right now. Alex, what a part to come into, right? All right, so I'm going to start on Mercy. Now, Mercy's pretty basic. She mains heals. Yes, you can battle Mercy. You can battle Mercy. That's 100% a thing you can do. Don't try to do it unless your aim is great. Definitely practice. It's very important. That's all I'm gonna say. So when you're playing Overwatch, just like with any game, there's settings. There are things that you can adjust based on, you know, your preferences to make things easier for you. Do not play on default settings that come with the game unless they're very, very comfortable for you personally. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. To me personally, fuck around with your settings until you really, really feel like you get it. So Overwatch makes it easy, and they give you lots and lots of options. You would go into controls. And it says all heroes up top. But if you touch on that, you can actually set individual settings based on your individual characters. This is very fucking important. Because the way that I play Mei is not going to be the same settings that I play Mercy on. It's not going to be the same settings that I play Lucio on. Like, for instance, as Reinhardt, I want all my sensitivity maxed out because I want to be able to jump and move and swing as much as possible. Hey, Chewy, welcome to the stream. So the ones that have the little asterisk near it, those are the ones that tell you that there have been some changes made. Okay, we're going to go down to, well, go up to Mercy since that's the one that we're talking about. These are the settings that I play on right now. It's funny because I can't get my Prime icon to show up, but it gives me all the Prime, like, discounts right on the left. I can't even. Alright, so few things here that they give you options for. You can always delete your override, so it's not a problem if you fuck it up. So I'm going to go through the things that are very, very important that do actually affect your gameplay as Mercy. Yes, a shout out to the PSN community I created called Defenders of Light. If you are on PSN and you play Overwatch, please join that community. I'll be running more events like this and just game nights in general. I want to get all of the Overwatch folks organized in one place so that we can squad up when we need to. So go ahead and add me, and you can also use the PSN command, and you can add my what's it called? What y'all call this shit on PSN? It's not gamer tag, right? But anyway, so your horizontal and vertical sensitivity, play with those. Very important. You can go into your advanced, which I play with vibration off. I know a lot of people don't. Aim technique, dual zone, you can switch that up. Again, I advise you to play with these settings to see what works for you. I didn't really mess with anything in the advanced settings other than the vibration off. I personally have Bloom on for Mercy. A lot of people don't like to play with Bloom. If you don't know what Bloom is, it's when your reticle sort of opens and closes upon shooting. That's the best way I can explain. So the other part of that is you can change the type of your reticle. I prefer Dot for Mercy because her gun's tiny and I want to make sure that it's focused. For May, I do short crosshairs. For Soldier, I do short crosshairs. Again, play around with this and see what you like. You can switch the color. I mean, that's neither here nor there. Now, this for me is really, really, really important. Bloom shows recoil. Thank you, Onyx. There you go. That's a better way to explain it. I was just like, that should be bigger and smaller. That should be bigger and smaller. Like, Onyx came through with the proper explanation. Your allied health bars being on is important because then you can see that they're crit. You can see it going down. It's important. If you're playing Mercy, if you're playing any like actual healer, I would advise you to put your allied health bars on. Recently, I have changed my settings on Mercy to toggle beam connection off, which there are advantages and disadvantages to that. If you toggle this off, it does mean that you do not make it the full space in between when you have a, I don't even know what to call it, when you have that icon for someone or somebody's dead body. When you connect to it and pull yourself over, it does not take you all the way. Yo, Black Girl Gamers, thank you for the host. Welcome to the stream. Why Defenders of Light? Defenders of Light mostly because everything I do has either Lux, which is a name that I've gone by for a very long time, which means light. It's either Seeking Lust, Seeker, Lux, or something Lux-based. So Defenders of Light was a natural was a natural name. The Death Orb. There you go. Onyx just helping me out with all of the language. I'm just talking. So on Death Orb, it does not allow you to get to close the full gap, but in a lot of cases, it does actually end up saving your life. Because I know some of you have played as Mercy. You have the toggle beam connection on. You have toggle, Guardian Angel on, and you fly in hoping that you're gonna save the day, and all you do is get shredded. Yo, what's up? I am Miss Ashley. How's it going? Welcome to the stream, ladies. Beam sensitivity, Guardian Angel sensitivity, I have that on 100%. For me, that works. I'd previously played with beam sensitivity at about 75%, and I really didn't like it. Guardian Angel sensitivity and beam sensitivity are new options with this last update right before Orisa. So there are definitely new things to play with, but it does make a difference. And of course, down here, if you don't like your button layout, you can actually just change your button layout completely. So now, I would advise you to play around with the settings for all of your characters, particularly characters that you know that you play often enough. You will notice the change. If you don't notice the change, keep adjusting your settings. Take a note of your settings to know what you like, what you don't like. If you have a problem with maybe looking up, then you might need to toggle, your vertical and horizontal sensitivity. If you're having issues with, turning around, these are all things that require a little bit of self-reflection and a little bit of thinking of, what do you want? What do you want to get better at? And that's how you would go through and fiddle with your settings. For me, the reason why I switched around my Mercy settings was because as a Mixie Mercy, I felt like I needed to hang back a little bit more, and that's what I've started to do. Definitely already seen an improvement after I toggled the beam connection off, because it's not forcing me into danger, and it's forcing me in a position where I think more about it. Because you know what? If your entire team dies and you're Mixie ass Mercy, you can't even get the res. And sometimes you have to know when to make that decision. Sometimes you got to watch your team get slaughtered and be like, oh shit, them niggas dying over there. And wait, because you know that you'll have a better opportunity for a res. And I know that's very, very hard for us as healers and support players, because as soon as you see that critical, as soon as you see that I need healing, you just want to Leroy Jenkins and, save the day. But the most important part of being a healer and a support player is not only understanding how your team plays, but knowing and being able to discern when you need to run up as a healer and when you don't. So, are there questions about like Mercy play, or should I just get into some Mercy play right now? Definitely Leroy Jenkins. Question from Jay. How do you feel about pocketing a Pharah or someone when there's another healer? Okay, so when I'm playing with my squad, part of what makes me personally an effective Mercy is because a lot of the people that I play with on a consistent basis. My squad, the Wash, I can anticipate the decisions that they're going to make. We frequently check and we call out, our alts and things like that. I have no problems pocketing a Mercy, pocketing a Pharah as Mercy, even if I don't have a secondary healer, especially if I know that my Pharah is doing keep away damage and has people very afraid. Maybe on a map like Temple of Anubis, or on that new map that's like the triple attack map. If I know that my Pharah can bully, I will damage boost her as much as I can. The only issue is that my Pharahs are Leroy Jenkins, to be polite. Generally, it's my husband that plays Pharah, and he knows fully well that he might die if he goes up too far, because I can't risk leaving my tanks unprotected and unhealed just because I know that he's going to, go back there and get 4 or 5 kills. Oasis, there you go. Onyx is just helping me out today. You only like Pharah as an escape plan? I've gotten better at that. Mid-team slate. Well, see, I think that there's definitely different healers for different situations. Mercy is a great healer in a tank focused situation. Mercy is great if you have a comp like Diva, Reinhardt, maybe a Zarya, or like somebody high DPS like Soldier or your Bastion. She's great for that. If you're playing a very light team, like attack, mostly like offense type of attack characters, she might not be the best main healer for you. You might want to switch it up and do like a Zenyatta Lucio, or things like that depending. Hey, amazing, welcome to the stream. And that's so Alley Cat, thank you so much for the host and welcome to the stream. Yes, if you are solo healing, they're going to blame you for dying anyway. My response to that is always, well, why the fuck didn't you protect your healer? Because if you know you have one healer, and this is something I want to stress, if you know you have one healer and it is a focused healer like Mercy, you've got to play around that a little bit different, or you've got to actually, put on your big boy shorts and pick another healer. That's generally what it is. My team necessarily doesn't always play dual heals, but there are certain maps and certain situations where we automatically know, like, hey, a Mercy can't do this. If we have 3 tanks and then two other random players, nah, I can't keep everybody alive. There's no way. Not my Mixie team. So you have to know when to supplement heals. You have to know what healer is appropriate for what situation based on comp. And that greatly varies because the things that you're going to have to take into consideration are the map, the comp of the team, and pretty much how you're going to break through. All right, Onyx. So on a map like Anubis, I probably wouldn't want to play Mercy right off. I'd probably want to have a Lucio right in the beginning and maybe secondary Mercy for my tanks once we break through. What are your thoughts on the team ignoring an enemy Pharah while she's blasting your ass with rockets? That's fucking annoying. Whoever is running DPS is supposed to be in charge of taking care of Pharah. So if you have a Pharah, lots and lots of characters counter Pharah, you would have to counter pick. So if nobody on the team is actually killing the Pharah and you have a Soldier or a Diva or a McCree or even a Mace, somebody that can put shots, even a Zenyatta can take a Pharah down, depending on how good they are. You would actually have to call out and work with your team. If you're a healer and you're getting constantly slayed by a Pharah or a Tracer, your team's fucking up. And they either need to get good with protecting their healer, or unfortunately, they don't deserve your heals and you need to switch. Yes, Anna as well. Anna is a very, very easy target. Lots of people like to run her around while she's playing. But Anna is a good secondary healer, so hopefully if you're running Anna, Anna's not your only heals, but the same rules apply. Your healers are always going to be the targets, and if your team is not protecting the healers, then your team is wrong. If I'm playing Mercy and I have 10 deaths in a game, I'm raging at my team. They will tell you, because why the fuck am I dead? Again. There's no absolute reason why your DPS and your tank should not be making sure that your healer is protected at all times. Without your healer, the rest of the team is dead. Amazing, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Feeling so. Follow-up question, how do you get your team to focus on an enemy player? That's by calling out. Calling out is the only way to get your team to focus, and that's why call-outs are important. Do not worry, I will definitely be doing like a series of like map call-outs for the more popular maps. and I'll probably do more clips since I'm streaming more often of full game gameplay where you hear me and the team calling out. Yes, Jackster, I do agree that healers need a protection command or something that alerts the rest of the team that they're being, attacked. Other than that, I'm being attacked. There definitely needs to be a command like, "Hey, watch the fuck out! There's a tracer behind me." And Zebras wasn't at the gun. Oh, now y'all talking about pie. I'm hungry. Exactly. Every time your solo healer dies, that's 15 to 20 seconds without any heals. And there's so much that could happen within that time, especially on a long payload map. You are absolutely fucked if you're running solo heals and you're on King's Row and you don't have a Symmetra and your healer now has to fucking walk from 42nd Street to 14th Street to try to heal you. By the time your healer gets there, you're dead. And not only that, if your main healer is Mercy, the time in between, because of the staggered deaths, there's probably not going to be an opportunity to res. Go ahead, Jackster. You know I'm here for the questions. Where white ladies the other side of the fence. I absolutely did reference NY streets because it's mad long, and I feel like 42nd to 14th Street. Y'all see that that's a long walk. I came home, say. Exactly, D. That's a long ass walk. Yo, BGG is always in here eating some delicious, delicious food. Alright, Ashley, I'm actually gonna be on Xbox in a little bit after this stream. I was gonna keep it till like an hour, hour and a half. I didn't want these streams to be too long, but I'll be there with you if you're gonna be playing or streaming. Yo, Trippin' Couch, thank you for the auto host, love. But so, any more questions before I move into my next part of philosophy? Amazing. Are you in New York? I'm in New York. Next chapter, please. Okay. So, the other thing that I want to talk about. Wait. Hold on. Let me get Jaxter's question. There's a difference between using voice chat to get shit done than to just complain. Example, a Genji yelling about how Symmetra keeps beaming his ass down instead of calling out where certain enemies are. Yes. And I have a huge issue with that, Jackster. I yell and complain about that all the fucking time. When I'm in a game and I'm calling out, especially if it's a competitive game, I don't want to know what happened to you. I need you to tell me where that person is, where they are in relation to the team, and what the fuck we can do to stop it. I don't want to hear you complaining and bitching and moaning about how that's the 35,000th time that, that Genji slayed you. You didn't call out where it was. You didn't call out if he's weak. You didn't call out if it was his ult. You didn't call out anything. How can I help you? You cannot bitch and moan and complain to your team without giving them the information that's necessary for them to actually assist you. Then it's not a team game anymore. And then now you're fucking with morale, because now everybody knows that you're not with the shits. And nobody's even trying to hear anything you have to say anyway. And don't get me wrong, I've gotten upset and I've gotten into game chat and I've had to yell a little bit and then give, the pep talk afterward. But really, when the game is being played, when we are in game, the most important thing is for us to get through the game and get through the game with a win. Yo, Zway, thank you for the host. Brooklyn Bridge, thank you for the host. Reef Jackson, thank you for the auto host. Thank you, people. The people love me. I feel loved today. Thank you so much. And thank you for the follow, CK2 Fierce. Welcome to the stream. So, and that actually leads into what I was going to say, Jackster, so thank you. So it's my personal belief that call-outs are really, really important. And like I said, you know, I'm going to do a whole series on call-outs, just so that we're all on sort of equal footing a little bit. I know it's really hard for people who haven't played games like these, not accustomed to games with call-outs, to get into calling out, but it's very, very effective. It really does help your team win. And while you can rely on chemistry and synergy, call-outs really, really do cinch the deal. So as a support player, as a healer, it's one of my main duties, I believe, as a healer, as a support player, to call out. Why? You're already hyperactive anyway, as I said before. For me, the way that I play as a healer varies very, very differently to when I play as somebody like May or Junkrat. When I play as healer, I see everything. I'm always anticipating the time. I'm thinking in my head how long an ult has been. I'm constantly looking at the death announcements on the top right, so I have an idea. Because if I just saw that Genji wiped my team, I'm going to wait. I'm going to press the touchpad. I'm going to see who's up, who's down. I'm going to ask for a call out. I'm going to ask for what percentage are we on? Excuse me? Why is my phone ringing? My actual house phone. That was weird. I'm going to ask for, you know, percentage of alts. I'm going to ask to chain alts. I'm going to ask where the hell is an alt. I feel like that's part of my job because I'm making sure that my team is cohesive at all times. And that's very, very important. It's not necessarily about being the team leader or being a control freak, because everyone on the team should be calling out. But because I'm the healer and because I know the damage I've been healing and what I've been seeing my team go through, I feel like I have a better beat on, hey, it's been about a minute and a half. That Reaper keeps trying to get close. Hey, you guys, watch out for the die. You know, or hey, I've seen that May, you know, the game is almost over. She has not used her ult yet. Watch out for that blizzard. These are things that are important to note, and the more that you play and the more that you pay attention, and honestly also the more as you play these different characters, you will start to get an idea of timing. You will know that, okay, if I get X amount of damage as Symmetra while I'm setting up the point, that's going to give me my shield generator or to get my ult as May. So these are things that you naturally do develop, but they're also very, very important to pay attention to. And honestly, even if you are a support or healer main, play other characters. I actually advise mystery heroes, and I know that's not generally something people would expect from me, but mystery heroes is where I really learn to pick up a character and play the character and not worry about 100% fulfilling the role of the character in that game, but just doing the best that I could at the time with that character. And it allowed me to pick up, like, I picked up May, and I have over 100 hours on May now, and she's my main, she's my best character. Like, I fuck shit up as May. And before playing her in Mystery Heroes, I was just like, oh, okay, it's Ice Block, like, she cute, I mean, I kind of dig it, but Mystery Heroes forces you in situations that you really wouldn't play if you would, say, start off a game as that character in quick play or in arcade. So just for general knowledge, it's great because the more you learn about how other characters work, the more you learn about how to counter them, and the more you understand how to navigate around them as a support player. Absolutely. So even if you feel like you found your lane, you found what you like, still play mystery heroes. Still pick up a character or two every once in a while. Yo, Neil Negative, am I saying that right? Neil Negative, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. I really, really appreciate it. So definitely still encourage yourself to play other characters, to learn other characters, and to even if you don't want to like learn, watch streams. All right, amazing. Thank you so much for hanging out. You have a good one. I'll probably be on a little bit later on tonight. Yo, thank you for the follow, Rare Monkey. Monkey? I'm not sure how you would want me to pronounce that, but thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. So even if you're not really in that place where you want to play mystery heroes, do things like go to YouTube, look up like best Lucio or Lucio trips and ticks. Trips and ticks. Tricks and tips. How did I fuck that up all the way? You know, look at the like top Overwatch like streams. Look at characters that you've never played before. Get an idea of what their capability is. It really, really, really does make a difference. And it's going to make a difference even more for you as a support player because it's like, yeah, I know that Reinhardt dash takes 5 seconds to come back. He just dashed it. Let me just go ahead and find myself around this corner. You'll start to pick up that knowledge and slowly but surely it'll start to impact your gameplay and your decision making, not only singularly as a healer and as a support player, but in regards to your team as well. Word, trips and ticks, girl. That's gonna be the next one. Another thing I personally hate is scared ass teammates. I feel like you have to be willing to die to capture the point, especially to CP. Okay, yes, Jackster. I will say that it is a huge point of stress for me as a healer to be in situations where I'm the one that's running up to the point, whereas my tank is hiding behind me or hiding around the corner, or there's a Widowmaker who's like, you know, crouched in the most amazing like snipe position, but she refuses to touch the point even though, you know, she could maybe, you know, contest for a second. Last night I was convinced that nobody on the opposite team knew that you had to touch the point to be able to contest it. It was so weird and so odd to me sometimes how people decide how to play the game. But I think hopefully as people grow and understand the game more, we'll get better teammates. All right, Rare Monkey. I'll still call you Rare Monkey. Absolutely. Different support characters carry different responsibilities. As Lucio with speed, call out which direction you want your team to go. Exactly, Death Scythe. Each healer has their base responsibility. Even though today is just the first one, and I'm definitely only talking about Mercy so far today, I'm gonna get to Zenyatta. I'm gonna get to Lucio. I'm gonna have somebody do Ana with me because I don't play her that much. But yes, there are different roles. For instance, with your Zenyatta, if you put on your Discord orb on somebody, which increases their damage and also marks, you know, marks them for your team, you need to call that out. You got to be like, I got an orb on Pharah. I got an orb on Genji. I got an orb on this. I got an orb on that. That way your team knows, because they might be fighting on, you know, sort of another level than you. They may not be looking up. They may be turned in another direction. But if you call orb, they're going to spin around and they're going to look for orb. If you say I got one shot, he got orb, they're gonna look for it. If you're Lucio and you see some wild shit about to happen, you hit that speed boost and you're like, guys, speed boost out, you know. Or when you're congregating right before you do your first push as Lucio, you know, you choose the door. You say, hey, group up. You're like, hey, I'm about to Lucio taxi. There's also responsibilities of Lucio also, like going back to get people and taxi them back to the point. Every healer, every support player comes with their entirely different set of responsibilities. That is actually right. Actual and factual. And that was a really, really great point to bring up Death Scythe. I wasn't getting to that. But the common thread that we're having here is that calling out is very, very important, period. You should be calling out. You should be calling out regardless, especially if somebody is weak, especially if they're harassing, if they're flanking, if they're doing anything that you don't like, aka existing and being alive. You need to call out Toby turret positions. You need to call out Bastion. You need to call out whether how close Diva is out of her mech. You got to call out who's on stream. Literally, as you're looking, as you're moving with your team, everything you should be calling out that's of note, because everything you don't call out is an opportunity for your teammate or for even you to be in a situation that you don't want to be in, which is dead. I'm actually going to wrap this up if there are no more questions, and I'll play a few games with you off stream, love. So do you guys have any questions? This is just like the first basic stream. I wanted to keep it to an hour. I'm going to keep doing these an hour at a time. Next time we're going to probably do Lucio and Zenyatta. And if Alex is around, I'll have her with me to do an Anna one at a later date, and then we can get into support players like Symmetra and Toby also. You guys have any questions? And please let me know if these streams are something that you enjoy. I do want to get back to sherpering a bit more and teaching a bit more. So let me know what you like, what you don't like. If there's a time you'd rather see it, if you'd like it later in the day, let me know. I am going to clip this from my stream. This is also going to be available on the Black Girl Gamers YouTube channel. We're going to do the whole series there once all of the videos are clipped and we have the Black Girl Gamers site launched and our YouTube site launched. So definitely look out for that soon. We're going to have everything on there from game clips to, we're better than you to, things like this that'll help you get better and help you grow as a gamer within the community. And of course, to squad up. But we good? Am I good to end it? Any questions? Any questions? Any concerns? And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and put my math stuff in the stream. That's my main account on Xbox One. You can do Command GT, Command GT2. For Xbox folks, PSN folks, you can add me through the PSN community. I will be there doing these, like I said. The Defenders of Light community will be there to squad, to help, to make these kinds of videos and game nights. I want to get to a point where we can run customs and we can have a good old time, all stream friends. So thank you so much for hanging out. I hope this has been helpful. Like I said, it'll be clipped for my stream and for the Black Girl Gamers YouTube channel, and we'll post all of that information online. I'll probably be back later on with an Xbox live stream with the homies. Thank you, loves.